All right, people, as we expected, as we said would happen here in this channel, things are getting worse. We've got rockets flying, more rockets flying, wars getting worse. All the things that we were promised here just a few months ago that were going to happen, none of it's happened, folks. Inflation's still positive. We're not seeing a lower cost of living. We're seeing wars escalate. Remember the promises that were made that these wars were going to be ended. I think he said within the first few weeks or something like that. Here we are, folks, mid-June. We're almost halfway through the year, and things are escalating. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it on the news, but isn't it funny how everybody was so optimistic that things are going to get better, that the wars are going to end? I mean, it was like promises of rainbows and sunshine, and instead we're just getting more of the same, and things are getting worse here. So we're going to talk about the economy, the cost of living, housing, investing, a lot more, you name it. But first, people often say I don't have good news. Well, if you're in the United States, be thankful that this is not you. But here's what's happening. It's kind of loud. Wow, imagine that. You're watching that from your front porch. On the rooftop in this case. Israel under attack right now. Dozens of ballistic missiles are being launched from Iran towards Israel right now today on June, what's today, the 13th. This footage was taken showing missiles fired towards Tel Aviv, a major population center. So that's not good, folks, to see these things escalate regardless of where you're from. And remember, the U.S. is involved in this. Very much so here. And as a result of that and other things, stocks were down today and Friday. Happy Friday the 13th, by the way. Anybody have a hockey mask that they're wearing today? S&P 500 was down over 1%. The Dow Jones down 1.7%. NASDAQ down 1.3%. The biggest loser, the Russell 2000, down 1.85%. I've said it here before. There's too much volatility in these markets for me to take a very big investment position at this point. I'm looking for dip buy opportunities. At this point, I would need to see a much bigger sell-off to put a significant position in going long on these markets right now. There's too many things I think are still waiting they're waiting on deck is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see some jaw-dropping, shocking, eye-opening events happen this year. And look at all the things that we predicted so far. It was just obvious that what we were being told was just too good to be true, right? Wars are going to end. Cost of living is going to come down. Everything's going to get better, get easier. It is for some people, but typically not for the working 9-to-5 person. Maybe I should make up a saying or a quote of what's going to happen this year. Eyes popping, jaws dropping. Shocking. Eyes dropping, jaw dropping, shocking. Anyway, let's get into some other news here, folks. And I still have people asking what I'm doing, what I'm investing in, how I'm preparing. People that don't watch every episode sometimes miss it. I'm still sitting on cash, kind of like Warren Buffett is doing. He's sitting on a lot of cash. Me, not as much as Warren Buffett by a long shot, but that's my position right now. There's too many risks out there. And just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. I think there's going to be a market-changing, a world-changing / way of life-changing situation drop this year in 2025. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, but that's okay. We'll still look for dip buy opportunities. We'll still make money. We'll still stack silver. Cryptos, I'm waiting for a bigger sell-off in cryptos, and we'll jump into some cryptos when the time is right. I would not be buying or adding to cryptos right now. Some people disagree with that, but you want to know what I'm doing? I'll let you know what I'm doing. Moving on here, folks. We're seeing reports such as this one out of the Daily Mail, which I think is very exaggerated. It says, once scorching housing market is now in free fall. Looming threat It's not in free fall. Even the states that prices are dropping the most, like Texas, are not in free fall. And in fact, it even goes on to say in several Texas cities, prices fell year over year. We're down 3.4%. So I wouldn't call that free fall. I mean, it's 3.4%, a little over 3%, almost 3.5%. Is that free fall to you? No. And it's year over year. Now, if prices are dropping 3% a month, that's free fall, because then you're over 30% a year. But folks, not in free fall, but things are shifting very, very slowly. But I expect things to accelerate as everything we're happening right now, the unrest, the divide, the left versus right divide, tensions between nations, including the U.S. involved in multiple proxy wars right now. When you look at it, nothing very good is going to come out of this, in my opinion. And I hope I'm wrong, but something tells me I'm not. Also, we have some dire predictions from some economic forecasters out there, including one out of the Times here. What are they saying? Inflation, where is it? From the tariffs. Just wait. Our predictions for a jump in consumer prices too early. Well, it's going to be interesting because we have some deflationary forces happening right now with the population shifts that we're seeing, which is leading to a lot of unrest. But ultimately, that's deflationary, and inflationary, of course, tariffs. But we're gonna see how it plays out, folks. But I would just say prepare for fireworks, and not the kind that we just saw dropping on Tel Aviv right now. A different kind of fireworks. Hopefully, I mean, worst case scenario, folks, they start dropping nukes, and none of this matters. Investing doesn't matter. None of this matters, right? So hope and pray for that. That's what I'm doing. In the meantime, though, we've got to keep our eye on the ball and try to figure out how to navigate these waters. You know what I mean? Staying on here with the housing market for just a moment here, we've got a nice little map that outlines the number of sellers versus buyers in several metropolitan areas. Let me bring this up here. And we're starting to see shifts in the housing market. Finally, now the housing market's very slow moving. It's going to play out for a while. But the darker number up here at the top, you see the key up here. That means there's a lot more sellers than buyers. In fact, as of April, so it's almost double in some of these states here. We've got mostly Florida cities down here, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Other dark numbers: Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas. Moving over to Tennessee, we've got Nashville. Those are the places where you're most likely to see the biggest home price corrections. And second, you've got the ones in blue. Then you get down to the purple, the light purple, and the yellow. So California cities, LA, Anaheim, San Diego's on there with a little bit more buyers than sellers. Not as bad. Looks like about 25% more sellers rather than buyers. I'll get that backwards. And the darker ones, it's almost double, meaning almost twice as many sellers versus buyers. And we haven't seen this in about a decade or more, this divide between the number of sellers versus the number of buyers. So continued weakness in the housing market. Of course, we've got the administration out there begging for lower rates to try to keep this train on the track a little bit longer because they see that people are defaulting. They now have to repay their loans. No more freebies, as we've seen for 5 years. And it's affecting their credit, and that's going to be another area of slowdown in the economy with consumer spending unless they do something real quick here. All right, moving on here to folks, some different type of news here, but ones we talk about every once in a while, and that's recalls. And actually, I thought I had bought one of these power banks, but mine was a different brand. But more than 1 million Anker power banks recalled due to fire and burn hazards, manufactured by Anker Innovations, Anker. And so look that up if you bought a power bank over the past couple years. And where were these made at? That's what I want to find out. Where were they made at? Haha. Anker Innovations Limited of China. And I'm not saying the U.S. would have been much better. Someone in the U.S. manufacturing these things or working in a factory is probably all hopped up on some sort of medication or street drug or both. Because I wouldn't trust something made in the U.S. any more than China, actually. Considering the U.S. population, half the people here on some sort of, literally some sort of medication, half the population. All right, folks, moving on to a little bit of a different type of news here. 1 minute you could be high and fly, multi-millionaire. In this case, athlete, former NFL star. I used to be a pretty big Steelers fan, but look what's happening right now. We've got Antonio Brown, major star with the Steelers, and I think played for Miami for a short time. Arrest warrant issued on attempted murder charges, folks. That's too bad. Antonio Brown. So 1 minute you're flying high, next minute you're looking at being behind bars, folks. So bottom line moral of the story, money isn't everything, folks. You can find happiness in many different ways. I was in my garden earlier, and that made me happy for some reason. I don't know why. I saw some fruit grow, and it's not that much fruit. And I saw some vegetables grow. A couple cucumbers popped up now. Not just popped up, but actually sprouting the cucumbers from the vine. And starting to see some tomatoes. And if I bought these at a store, you might only be saving a few dollars, right? Not that much food. But just the fact that they're growing in the backyard just, I don't know, made me feel good today. I don't know why. Anyways, hope you like this report, folks. Let me know what you think about this. Escalating war, inflation going to get worse, not better. Cost of living going to go up, not down. Except for the housing market, a little bit of a correction, but not a crash. Are you waiting? I'm still waiting for the next shoe to drop. Could be these riots and this unrest happening right now. I think that's going to escalate big time. Tomorrow, June 14th, is the day, folks. That's when most of the protests, hopefully peaceful, hopefully calm, that's when most of the stuff's going to go down, is tomorrow on Saturday, June 14th. The military parade, is that still happening? Let me check on that. Yes, it's still on for tomorrow. Millions of protesters expected. No Kings rallies nationwide. And this is going to be, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because we've been running up debt for decades, literally. 37 trillion knocking on the door. 100 plus trillion if you look at all the different industries, if you look at different sectors, rather, of debt, including personal, commercial, state government debt, local debt. 100 plus million for that. But nobody protested then. But now they're protesting because this military parade, which I think it is a waste of money. I don't think we need a military parade. If somebody gave me free tickets to go to it, I probably wouldn't want to go to it. That's how much I don't care about it. But people are protesting this. It is going to cost in the tens of millions of dollars. And they're protesting, of course, the administration right now, their policies and what else is happening as far as the not so legal people, so to speak, trying to figure out how to say it here. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. Please let me know what you think about this down in the comments. The parade, the protest. It's the next big shoe going to drop here pretty soon. I feel it. I'm not sure if it's next week or maybe tomorrow. But something big is brewing, folks. Let me know what you think down in the comments. As always, keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.